Another division with a lot of ups and downs, some surprising teams. Let's go to the NFC South. Let's start at the bottom with the Carolina Panthers. This is pretty much what we thought the Panthers were going to be. They've kind of met expectations so far. We didn't think Frank Wright was the right hire. Bryce Young, we were like, bad offensive line. Adam Thielen is his best weapon. The best they've looked this season so far has been with Andy Dalton so far. So struggle out of the gate. You've scored 10, 10, and 13 with Bryce Young. Hasn't looked very good so far. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a C for comparable for meeting our expectations of what we thought they would be.
Yeah, that's a fair grade. I mean, we didn't expect them to be very good, and they're not very good. They're a little bit worse than I thought, so I'll give them a C minus, but they are pretty bad. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the league, but, it's what we expected. So it can't, for basing it on expectations, they're exactly where we thought they'd be.
Yeah, C for comparable there. Not much more to say except a lot of tough injuries on that team. And then we have the New Orleans Saints. What have they done? Went out there, got Derek Carr. They have a tough, gritty game where they really went for it versus the Titans. They bomb it downfield to ice the game with Derek Carr and Chris Olave. Rashid Shaheed looked interesting, to say the least. We still have weird gimmicks with Taysom Hill going on. And then you go out there and beat the Panthers in week 2 on Monday Night Football. And then you struggle versus the Green Bay Packers when Derek Carr goes out. You blow a 17-0 lead when you get a special teams touchdown. So the offense struggled in that game. And then you get absolutely annihilated by your divisional opponent in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for the Saints, so far they've kind of underachieved with expectations so far. And then with Derek Carr being banged up, not knowing how to use Taysom Hill, I'm going to go ahead and give them also a C.
I'm going to do the same grade that I gave for the Panthers. I'm going to give them a C minus. I kind of expected them to not be world beaters, but I am a little disappointed in that offense to this point. Alvin Kamara came back last game. They mustered, 9 points? So not super impressive what I've seen. Derek Carr, I expected him to be like a good step in the right direction for how bad their quarterback play was last year. And their offense at this point has been super clunky. So I also don't love what I've seen from Dennis Allen, so I give him a C minus.
Yeah, C minus is fair there. And then we move on to the Atlanta Falcons. What have they done? They have an impressive win in week 1. Really see Bijan Robinson shine. And then they go out there, win in week 2 versus the Green Bay Packers, end up having a comeback win. Then they go on the road versus Detroit, score 3 points, get blanked in that game. Then they go on the road, only score one time again, score 7 points in London versus the Kings of the Pond in the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for the Falcons, they are a home team that struggles on the road. We actually thought they were going to be better this year and a playoff team. So far, they've kind of been underwhelming, I guess, expectation-wise. I felt like with the Lions game, they definitely shouldn't have been that bad. So for me, I'm going to give them a D+.
Yeah, that's a fair grade for them because I expected them to win this division, and now I'm not so hopeful that they will. Desmond Ridder seems a fine game manager. Kind of carrying with the theme with the rest of them, I'm going to give them a C minus, as I gave the rest of this division. So, Drake London hasn't been properly utilized. Kyle Pitts hasn't been properly utilized. Kyle Pitts just might actually just not be good at football. We don't know. And then their defense has been hit or miss for the most part. So, team that is pretty middle of the pack, a little underwhelming. I'll give them a C minus.
Yeah, C minus for the Falcons there. And then that takes us to the last team and probably the surprise team of the NFL besides the Texans. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What have they done? They go out there, get a tough, gritty win in week 1, and then they go back versus the Vikings on the road, and then they go back home versus the Chicago Bears, handle business there. They called 3 screens in a row. We all saw it coming, and then they kind of exposed the Bears for being their atrocious team. Struggle, matchup nightmare versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Then they go on the road, place that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers struggled with Tom Brady in New Orleans. Baker Mayfield has a statement game. The defense is rolling in that game, and then the offense strings together some nice plays with Baker Mayfield. based on expectations, not knowing what this team was going to be this year. So far, have to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers an A.
Yeah, me too. I mean, Baker Mayfield playing like his life depends on it. You've seen Mike Evans. Looks like that 1,000-yard season will continue, and their defense has played very well, and they've beat expectations to this point. We expected them to win 3 games the entire season. They're already at the 3-win mark, so we were wrong there. So I'll give them for what I expected them to be. I will also give them an A because of that. Did not expect them to be as good as they've been, and I think they are legitimate. So I do think that they will continue to win games as a tough, gritty team.